Nestled deep in the mountains, shrouded in perpetual mist, lay Silent Hollow, a town forgotten by time, untouched by the relentless march of progress. Its inhabitants, hardened by generations of isolation, clung to their traditions. Strangers were rare, their arrival a curiosity. The heart of the town was marked by a gnarled oak, its branches heavy with secrets. Beneath its shadow, whispers of forgotten tragedies lingered. The townsfolk spoke of a darkness that clung to the hollow, a presence that watched from the shadows. John Harper, a writer seeking solace from city life, stumbled upon Silent Hollow by accident. Drawn by its eerie beauty, he decided to stay. He rented a small cabin on the outskirts of town, its windows like hollow eyes staring into the woods. Across the street lived Sarah, a recluse haunted by her past. Her piercing blue eyes, windows to a soul burdened by unseen horrors, rarely met another's gaze. John, intrigued by her melancholy, found himself drawn to her. The silence of Silent Hollow was deceptive. It hummed with an underlying tension, a sense of anticipation. Strange occurrences began to plague John. Objects moved in his peripheral vision. Whispers followed him, too faint to decipher. He dismissed them at first, attributing them to stress and the unfamiliar surroundings. But as the incidents escalated, his unease grew. He tried to shake off the feeling, seeking solace in his writing, but the words refused to come. One evening, a dense fog rolled in, blanketing Silent Hollow in an ethereal shroud. It seemed to seep from the very ground, clinging to everything it touched. The air grew thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, something ancient and unsettling. That night, the whispers intensified, morphing into faint screams that echoed through John's dreams. He woke with a start, his heart pounding against his ribs. A cold sweat clung to his skin. He was no longer alone in the cabin. Section 5. Visions in the Night. Sleep offered no escape. The darkness of the night was supposed to bring peace and rest, but for John, it was a gateway to a realm of terror. John's dreams twisted into nightmares, filled with grotesque figures and haunting melodies. Each night, as he closed his eyes, he was transported to a world where reality and nightmare intertwined. He saw flickering shadows, their forms shifting and swirling in the darkness. These shadows seemed to have a life of their own, moving with a sinister grace that sent chills down his spine. Their eyes, burning with malevolent intent, followed his every move. It was as if they were waiting for the perfect moment to strike, to drag him deeper into the abyss of his own mind. One night, he saw her. She was more than just a figment of his imagination. She was a presence that felt all too real. A woman with long, black hair and eyes that glowed with an unnatural light. Her gaze pierced through the darkness, reaching into the very core of his being. Her voice, a chilling whisper, called out to him, beckoning him into the fog. It was a voice that promised both danger and allure, a siren's call that he found impossible to ignore. John tried to resist, but the pull was too strong. He felt an invisible force dragging him closer to her, his willpower crumbling under the weight of her presence. The fog thickened around him, obscuring his vision and making it harder to fight back. He knew he was losing this battle, but he couldn't give up. The struggle was real, and the fear was palpable. Each step he took felt like he was sinking deeper into quicksand, with no hope of escape. The night was his prison, and the visions were his tormentors. Section 6. The Town's Dark Secret. Silent Hollow was a place shrouded in mystery, a town where whispers of the past lingered in every shadow. The streets, often deserted, seemed to hold their breath, waiting for something to happen. Desperate for answers, John turned to Sarah. He had no one else to trust, no one else who might understand the terror that had gripped his heart. The town's eerie silence had become unbearable, and he needed to share his burden. He confided in her about the strange happenings, the nightmares, the woman in the fog. Each night, the dreams grew more vivid, more terrifying. The woman, always shrouded in mist, seemed to be calling out to him, her eyes filled with sorrow and warning. Sarah, her face pale and drawn, listened intently. She had heard rumors, of course, but hearing it from John made it all too real. The fear in his voice was unmistakable, and it mirrored the dread she felt deep within her own heart. When John finished, a heavy silence descended upon the room. The weight of his words hung in the air, thick and oppressive. They both knew that something sinister was at play, something that went beyond the realm of the ordinary. "The fog," Sarah finally spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "It's a warning. They're coming." Her words were like a dagger, piercing through the fragile hope that John had clung to. The fog was not just a natural phenomenon, it was a harbinger of doom. Her words sent a shiver down John's spine. He had always sensed that there was something more to the fog, something malevolent. Now, his worst suspicions were confirmed. They confirmed his worst fears. The nightmares, the woman in the fog, the eerie silence of the town. It all pointed to one terrifying conclusion. Silent Hollow was not just a town with a dark past. It was a place where the past refused to die. Silent Hollow was hiding a dark secret, one that was now reaching out to claim him. The town's history was filled with tales of sorrow and loss, of spirits that wandered the streets, seeking closure. And now, it seemed, those spirits had found their next target. John and Sarah knew they had to act. They couldn't let the darkness consume them. Together, they would uncover the truth, no matter how terrifying it might be. The fate of Silent Hollow depended on it. As the first light of dawn broke over the town, a glimmer of hope pierced through the darkness. Silent Hollow's secret was on the verge of being revealed, and with it, the chance for redemption. Section 7. Trapped. The fog thickened, becoming almost tangible. It pressed against John's skin, suffocating him. The whispers grew louder, the screams more insistent. Panic welled up inside him, threatening to consume him. He was trapped. Then, he remembered Sarah's words. "They're coming." Who were they? And what did they want with him? Questions swirled in his mind, but the answers remained elusive, hidden in the dense, swirling fog. Section 8. The Ritual. Through the fog, John saw figures emerge, their silhouettes distorted and grotesque. They moved with an unnatural grace, their eyes burning like embers in the mist. They circled him, their chanting voices growing louder, weaving a tapestry of fear. He stumbled back, fear paralyzing him. He recognized the clearing. It was the same one from his nightmares, dominated by the ancient oak. The figures were leading him somewhere, to something. A ritual, ancient and terrifying, was about to begin. Section 9. A Choice to Make. The chanting reached a fever pitch. The figures parted, revealing the woman from John's nightmares. Her eyes, burning with a cold fire, held him captive. She extended a hand towards him, her touch promising oblivion. John looked from her to Sarah, who stood at the edge of the clearing. Her eyes pleaded with him to resist. He was caught between two worlds, the familiar comfort of his past life and the terrifying unknown that beckoned him. Section 10. The silence remains. The fog swallowed Silent Hollow, shrouding its secrets once more. The town, once bustling with life, now lay in eerie silence, its streets empty and its buildings abandoned. The fog was not just a natural phenomenon. It was a veil that hid the town's dark past and the mysteries that lay within. John Harper vanished that night, his fate unknown. He was last seen walking into the thick fog, his figure slowly disappearing into the mist. The townsfolk searched for him, but it was as if he had been swallowed by the fog itself. Some whisper that he succumbed to the darkness, becoming one with the fog. They say that the fog has a life of its own, a malevolent force that consumes those who dare to venture into it. John Harper, they believe, was just another victim of its insidious grasp. Others believe he escaped, forever scarred by his ordeal. They imagine him wandering the world, haunted by the memories of that night, unable to find peace. His mind, they say, is a labyrinth of fear and confusion, a testament to the horrors he faced. But in the stillness of the night, when the wind whispers through the trees, the fog seems to come alive. It moves with a purpose, as if searching for something or someone. The rustling leaves and the howling wind create a symphony of dread, a reminder of the unseen forces at play. The townsfolk of Silent Hollow claim to hear a faint, mournful cry echoing from the heart of the fog, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lingers. They say it is the voice of John Harper calling out for help, or perhaps warning others to stay away. A chilling reminder of the darkness that lingers. The cry is a haunting melody, a song of sorrow and despair that pierces the silence of the night. It is a sound that sends shivers down the spine, a reminder of the town's cursed fate. The silence, it seems, is a lie. Beneath the surface, the town is alive with secrets and whispers, a place where the past and present collide in a dance of shadows and light. Silent Hollow is a place where the silence remains, but the echoes of the past are never far away.